But that's the part, because you have an aspect of your life that is linked to the mob, a big part of it, life that's linked to the mob, and then the other side is entertainment.
Right. I go to Delancey Street one day, and I see this new invention called ballpoint pens. You don't need ink anymore. And the store was 10 feet wide. So I go in the store, and there's the man there, and I said, "You're the owner of the store?" He said, "Yeah." And I introduced myself, and he said, "I'm Mr. Rabinowitz." I said, "Mr. Rabinowitz, I got something I think you're gonna love." I said, "What's that?" He says, "I'm gonna become your partner." And he looked at me, and he called his brother, "Leo, come here, I want you to meet our new partner." He's playing with a heavy Jewish accent. And I said, "No, I'm serious." He said, "So how are you gonna be my partner? Tell me. I said, "You're selling ballpoint pens." He says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm gonna expand your business." He said, "How are you gonna do that?" I said, "You're here, you got 10 feet, 200 feet wide." I said, "You should be selling spaghetti, not ballpoint pens." So he said, very funny, he said, "How are you gonna do this?" I said, "You're gonna give me 50 pens." "Give? I give nobody nothing. Give, I ain't giving." I said, "Listen to me, please. I'll take, you ain't taking." I said, "All right, I'll leave here with 50 pens. Tomorrow morning you come. If 20 are missing, I pay you for them. Give me the 50 again. I'll do that every day." He said, "How do I know you'll come back?" I said, "My grandfather told me, look a man in the eye, give him your word, and shake his hand. That's it. That's all you need in life." He said, "Grandfather's a smart man." He gave me the pens. Then I asked, because I was seeing when I didn't have went to Office Space, and I saw they got paid in paychecks. I walked to the bank, and they're filling envelopes. Old man Pinto was from our neighborhood. I knew he was at Marine Midland Bank. So I go in, I said, "When is the paydays here?" He said, "Oh, we have to stagger them because they're paying in cash." I said, "Would you give me the list of when you're paying who?" He said, "Why, you want to rob them?" I said, "No." I said, "I have an idea, because I wanted to go. Once you got your envelope, let me show up 15 minutes later." You had all this change.
Yeah.
So it got to be, months went by, that I'd walk into these places. I knew their schedule. Every day I was somewhere else. But then it got to be, they just opened the drawer. They had typewriters, ballpoint pens. They didn't want no more. So I come out. I was disappointed. And all the train stations are still the same. So I'm on Broadway and Canal, and I see N and R, and it says Uptown. I always wanted to go uptown from the hospital. I said, "I'm going up." So I got off of 59th Street and 5th Avenue, and I made that my stop. I stood outside the Sheraton Elevator Hotel, Van Cleef and Arpels. I had this gimp on that I was starting to pull it into my shirt because it was growing too fast. My little cigar box, but I didn't take the typewriter erasers, just these little jewel pens that were coming out. Everybody would come by, give me $1, And I saw, to me as a kid, I looked at everybody and I said, "Every day is Sunday here." Because I used to talk to the doorman. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Everybody has their Sunday best on." Because they all dressed to the nines. My neighbor, nobody dressed, maybe Sunday to go to church. That's how I met Costello. He started walking down, he used to cross town every day. He lived on the west side.
That's how you got connected.
And he walked down 59th Street, come to 5th Avenue, go into the Sheraton Islands, get a shine, come back out. That's how I got to see him. And then he touched my shoulder. He says, "Kid, what are you doing here?" I said, "I'm selling pens." He looked at pens, opened the cigar box. He'd throw $1 in, $5, never take a pen. This went on for a couple of months. And then one day, maybe he had more time, he always had somebody or two guys with him. And he says to me, "What's your name?" I told him my name. He says, "You're Italian." I said, "Yeah." He's Russo. I said, "Yeah." He says, "Who's Angelo Russo to you?" I said, "Angelo Russo's my uncle." He's "Angelo Russo's your uncle?" I said, "Yeah, why?" He's, "When's the last time you saw him?" I said, "I never saw him." I said, "They hung him in London in 1948. And he looked at Blackie. Now he knew the guy's name now. He says, "This guy's telling the truth." I said, "I don't lie." I said, "I take offense to that." And he looked at me. He says, "You know where the Waldorf clock is?" I said, "Yeah, everybody knows where it is. In the lobby of the Waldorf on Park Avenue. He's be there tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I said, "Okay." And he said, "Blackie, take that cigar box home. You never do this again. I don't want to see you begging on the street." Gave me 2 $100 bills. I was with that man until 1973, till he died. And I couldn't go to his funeral because they had a warrant out for my arrest. So I went to the school across the street. He was buried up on 86th Street in Park Avenue. Campbell's, everybody gets buried out of there. But I had to show my respect. And then I called his wife that night. And I described what she said, "Where were you?" And then she said, I shouldn't even ask you that, because she knew they were looking for me. I said, "I just want to let you know you look gorgeous today, and my respects. I've been praying for him And that was it. But that's how long I was with this guy.
What'd you learn in that period?
Oh my God.
I mean, you met every single mob boss in the U.S., right? All of them.
Well, not only that, at the time, unbeknownst to me, I was a kid. I was just a messenger. And, he'd give me envelopes, go here, go there. First, stayed in the city for about 2 or 3 years. I used to go to this apartment. There was 24 phone writers here, blackboards, that accounting room here. And then I'd pick up here at the end of the day. Then I'd make all my stops. Sherry Netherlands Hotel, the Plaza Hotel, all the hotels, all the barbershops is where they took the numbers and the horse bets. I would take them, and I'd take them to the Wyndham Hotel on 58th Street. And every day I'd go there and take the elevator top floor, I'd go there, and they had people out there, and I'd go in. I mean, it was like a bank. Everybody had advisors, who was counting money, who was doing this. So I thought I was being cute. Then he'd go to dinner every night, and if he needed me, this was before cell phones, they knew how to get in touch with me. And I'd come back, and I did errands for him at night. He went to dinner every night home, Mr. Costello. This guy, thank God it was him and not some crazy like a John Gotti or somebody. This guy was a gentleman of gentlemen. You would never know he was in the mob. That's why when Vito J.W.'s came out and he wanted his family back, Frank couldn't be happier to give it to him because Meyer Lansky and the Alf in Chicago, all over the world, put the syndicate together. And that's what became now, it's the power. That's why in Godfather 2, when Hyman Roth, who was Meyer Lansky in the movie, he said, we're going to be bigger than U.S. Steel. And they were. They were doing $10 million a week. I mean, it was insane, the money he had. And the buildings, I mean, the buildings that he owned 11 Wall Street. I mean, him and Joe Kennedy during Prohibition, they said they made $50 million each.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Of money. But how I met all the people, you're saying, the Waldorf Astoria, after the Appalachian crime, that whole raid, they never did that again. So they had their lawyers say, where can we meet? We got to meet. They all took hotel rooms in that hotel. I was visiting. I casually bumped into you. Every mob film, I met every guy, and I was always the kid. Always clean. Then he gave me money. He's got to clean up that outfit. I said, whatever you want me to do. He'd give me like $300. Go buy clothes. I'd buy enough and give him $200 back. I don't know if he was testing me. I never abused it. I was with him all along. Then he said in 1959, so I want you to start going to Vegas for me. I said, okay, whatever you want me to do. I always went by TWA. I didn't know they had Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes owned TWA. That's another
Complete different angle
my
story.
God. But
So you were around them all the time. You were around them all the time.
All the time. All the time. Only as the kid. People would say, what's that name? It's the kid. Don't worry, you don't have to know his name.
Well, you never actually went in and joined the mob.
No.
Never.
They out of Sicily, told him, hands off that kid. A lot of people, I got so close to the people in Chicago. Tony Accardo, I love Tony Accardo. We made a lot of business there. And I'm still friends. I'm going to Chicago all the time now. Did you ever hear a guy called Frank Nitti?
No.
He was with Capone. Frank Nitti, he was a big legend. Well, you're too young. His son, Nick Nitti, and I were partners for years. We were doing a lot of laundering of money through the Vatican, which hundreds of money, you can't even believe how much money. Now his son, John Nitti, is with me now. His son, it's so crazy. We're 3 generations of Nitties. But in my book, there's pictures nobody has. There's pictures of Tony Accardo, Nick Nitti, and I at the trivia fountain before going to the Vatican. Nobody has these pictures. That's what's so insane. Because you say, oh, this is so far-fetched. And then there's a photograph. And then there's a photograph. How do you get these photographs? You crazy? And that's before everybody has a camera on their phone now. I've been blessed. I mean, it's so crazy. There's a lot of stories about me, people I killed and all that. But it was always self-defense.